Hello, beautiful people. Welcome in. It's been a little while. If you're new to the space, I am Jalen Porter, and this is Be More Balanced, where everything that we do is in alignment, in balance. That means you ain't too light, we ain't too airy-fairy, and it's not too much into the dark, right? And we come right into balance, whatever that may look like for you. You may need a little bit more of this, you may need a little bit more of that. So, without further ado, today I wanted to tap in and touch base with you. There is some beautiful energy in the space. There's a heightened frequency. If you listen to my last post, which is also on Spotify as well, we're on Spotify now too. I tuned into the frequencies of time. I also tuned into the frequencies of fall, right? And little did I know, I didn't realize it consciously, but subconsciously I must have known that in the Chinese year and seasons and energy, fall starts the 22nd, right? So I am in time and on time, and it's beautiful how that works. So I wanted to really tap in with you all and see how you're doing in this energetic frequency that we are shifting in the fall. I don't know about you, but where I am, it was hot, it was blazing. And then all of a sudden I was like, ooh, I need a jacket. Like it's cold outside. So even literally the energy is colder, right? I want to wear socks. I made some soup today. And we just went through and passed the full moon, the blue moon, they call it, once in a blue moon, because this one specifically is happening or happen once every 13 years. So it'll be another 13 years before the same exact frequency of energy transpires again. So with that being said, I felt called to speak on this topic specifically about how being so-called spiritual doesn't always look one way. It's never been cookie cutter, and being in tune with source energy is not one way. And so-called being outside or aware of the fake matrix doesn't have to look one way. Okay. And what inspired me was the fact that I came across an experience where, and this has been like this before, and even a past version of me would have maybe been more in alignment or in agreement with this type of frequency, but there are people in this resonance of energy and awareness who will speak, chatter, and chime loudly about their awareness, about their spiritual aptitude, as if this is a contest. Newsflash, it's not. It ain't. And if you think it is, then you're falling into and down a rabbit hole of a whole nother situation, right? So this is your friendly reminder from your sister, from your spiritual cousin, that it don't look one way. And even if you are dibbling and dabbling or happen to pick up a certain book or text, yet you don't want to be defined by that specific source, that's okay. And I really came into a more clarity of awareness. I was reading this book, which I really appreciated, because it's not a lot of spiritual, quote unquote, books that I really read nowadays. It's really coming from within, as it should, right? And this book called The Infinite Self, and the author, I believe his name is Stuart Wilde. And I actually read this front to cover. Like it was one of them ones. And I love his perspective because he steps back and he speaks from the Taoist perspective. And don't quote me on it. I know that's either Chinese or Japanese culture. I'm not too into the culture, but he gave gems of this culture or this spiritual path because this is what he aligns with the most. He doesn't refer to himself as like someone who studies this religion, but he aligns with a lot of the ideologies. Nonetheless, he spoke about how the loudest people in the room, kind of like everything else, folks that feel the need to boast and shout how they're doing a thing, those who are wearing the, yoga outfits, or, just because you have locks or you a vegan or this and that and the third, that doesn't make you the most spiritually aligned, right? And this is something that I had to grasp along my journey. Spiritual don't mean you a good person. Being spiritual doesn't even mean that you're actually consciously aware of the energetic frequency that you're emanating. Being spiritual doesn't mean that you're not an energetic vampire. Being spiritual doesn't mean that you're a good person. So I want to send out this message to my community, because if you come to this page or you come to this channel, however you're listening, most times out of 10, you are spiritual, because that's what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? In some shape or form, you appreciate mysticism, you appreciate spirituality, you appreciate metaphysics, right? You are in tune with yourself enough where you can feel the God force energy inside of you, okay? So I want to let my folks know that maybe at a point in their journey where they are separating the wheat from the chaff, or clearing some energies that maybe don't resonate with them, their selves anymore, or their ego, or whatever it may be, I'm going to let you know to give yourself some grace. And I also want to let you know that you're not supposed to look one way. And I also want you to remember that if something doesn't resonate with your boundaries, and something doesn't resonate with your values, and if something ain't sitting right with your heart space, your bliss that you've created, and another individual is telling you that this is how you're supposed to be operating in this spiritual realm, listen to your own discernment, because everybody on this journey is still learning. If anybody tells you that they are some kind of self-proclaimed guru, guide, life coach, whatever they want to call themselves, and they too don't need or can't appreciate insight from source or from anybody else, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a direct conversation with God. When you're having a conversation with anybody, you're having a conversation with God. There are moments when even the so-called fool, or that person that you might call homeless on the side of the street, can give you a word, can give you a gem, can give you insight into how you can move in this time, plane, and dimension. Yeah. Does that make sense? And if you feel that and it resonates with you, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I really feel that this topic of conversation is, I think it's happening, but I also feel like it's long overdue in the so-called conscious community or spiritual community, because we are all elevating. What is the spiritual community? That's everybody in the world, in our community. Because if you have a soul, you have a spirit, you are of community. You are feeling. And I say it, if you've been here before and you've heard something that I spoke on, I say it, we are growing through spiritual puberty. All of us. Even if you are the least spiritual person, you are unfurling. We are going through that chrysalis stage of a cocoon and a butterfly with a caterpillar. Okay, many of us are resting. We are taking the time to reevaluate even our own beings, our very vessels, shaking off sometimes the clothes that we wear and we no longer resonate. And maybe the hairstyle you got, maybe the friends that you used to have, maybe the family members, maybe that job, maybe even that passion, that project that you were working on. You like, man, it's just not me. So many of us are shedding layers of skin like a snake, or like I said, like that caterpillar coming out of the chrysalis in this season. It's time. We're even eating different things, not just medicinally or for health and vitality reasons. I'll never forget, I found out that certain butterflies, I believe they're monarch butterflies, they eat this certain leaf, this certain specific type of leaf, because it is poison to other predators, to certain birds. So when these birds eat them, they'll die, and they'll remember in their lineage and in their DNA to never eat this certain type of butterfly again, because they'll look at the colors on this butterfly. Beautiful. The butterfly intentionally digests this type of food because it knows intuitively that it's a source of protection, not only nourishment, but protection. So many of us are consuming different things with our eyes, with our ears, not just with our mouths, with our skin. Maybe you're, like I said, you're around different people, so you're hugging different people. So everything that we do, we are receiving, we are eating information. And a lot of the times it is, in a way, a form of protection, right? You are armoring up yourself for the world. I don't necessarily want to say the battlefield. You can kind of look at that because, it is spiritual warfare in many respects. But at the same time, this is just life. You chose to come on earth. We chose to come on earth. And this is what we signed up for. So many of you are redirecting and reconstructing your diet as a caterpillar in order to create that chrysalis, so that you can become this butterfly. So that what you consumed when you were a caterpillar, although poison to somebody else, was nourishment for you. So when you consume this nourishment for you, anybody else that come across you, once you're a butterfly and you're beautiful and you're inhabiting this aura, right, and this essence, and somebody else come across you, some type of bird, you know what I'm saying, or some type of, could be so-called predator, they can't even touch you. You know what I'm saying? You are no longer affected by what would have been prey, right? Or predator, right? You're no longer prey because of the armor of what you've been digesting and consuming and things like that. So I really don't want to make this too much longer. The essence of this message is that this is my favorite season. I love the summer. I love the summer. And, they're my favorites in different ways. I'll say that because I'm a summer baby. But the fall is my favorite season because the veil is thin. And October is beautiful. I know I just skipped to October. I know we in August. I know we still got to go through September. But this energy, I skipped to October because the veil really lifts and our ancestors are really able to chime in and call and be with us. The link to source in which we are directly connected to during this season in time, when we're headed into, we're in fall, and then we're going to go into winter. We are in the womb of the bosom of our mother. This feminine energy and this feminine frequency of winter, right? Of going within, of shedding our skin, of detoxifying in natural ways. I'm not talking herbal remedies. I'm talking you are changing so that when you go through fall and you go through winter and then you hit the peak of spring and then you come anew again, there's a new version of you that's ready for the top of this frequency. So don't be scared of this uncomfortable you that is presenting itself to the world. I know that, some folks may not be the biggest fan of what you're presenting right now, but this too shall pass, meaning this uncomfortableness for everybody else, it really doesn't matter. You have to get more comfortable in your skin, in your presence, and in your resonance. You're probably doing and attracted to things that you weren't even thinking of. Like I said, you're shedding and you're becoming anew on purpose. So I reached back to the very first thing that I was talking about, when there may be a whirlwind of other people that are in the mix, hooping and hollering about what a spiritual resonance, energy, or walk or path is supposed to look like. Dash it away. Don't worry about that. Focus. Whatever you focus on grows. So focus on your sure path. And because we're dealing with energies of Saturnian energy, right? We're in the year of 8. Earth works with the element of time. That's Saturn. Okay, Saturn is associated with the number 8. We coming up on September and October, 8 energy. Okay, so make best use of your time, your thoughts, your energy, and know that your focus is potent. Your focus is the most potent. And your discipline is a part of your vision, and your discipline is a part of your manifestations. So when you see that it's taking some time, it's taking some months, it may take a year, it may take another year, it may take another year, continue to be steadfast in your purpose and in your passions, because they're going to keep coming back up. Whatever you've been working on, I'm sure you've been working on for a while. I'm sure it's been that dream you've been dreaming for a while. So continue upon that pace, because Saturn, the universe, the earth, nature rewards those things that are persistent, just like a plant that moves up this way and that way, right? The roots and the flower and the leaves and the bark and the branches and the trees. So rest if you must. Just don't quit. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Okay? To keep you from getting to you, baby. For your destiny. Okay? This conversation I dive deeper into on my Patreon. If you're interested, check out my Patreon. We go a little bit further into the metaphysical and occult aspects of this journey. I love you. I like you. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting this channel, this frequency, the message, and know that you are never alone. And I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Please leave a like if anything has touched you and you've resonated with anything I say. Just hit the like button, because it helps the algorithm. We got to play that game. And I'm going to talk to you soon. I'm going to talk to you real soon. I love you. I like you. Be well.